They told his parents he might never speak, never ride a bike, never live independently. Armani Williams was 2 years old when doctors delivered the diagnosis that would change everything: autism spectrum disorder. 21 years later, Armani Williams did something that shocked the entire racing world. He became the first openly autistic driver in NASCAR history. This is the story of the driver who was told what he couldn't do and proved everyone wrong. Let's go back to the beginning. April 14, 2000. Armani Williams is born in Grosse Pointe, Michigan. By age 2, his parents knew something was different. Armani could say mom, he could say dad, but that was it. Most kids his age were talking in sentences. Armani was almost completely nonverbal. The diagnosis came quickly: autism spectrum disorder. Like many families facing this diagnosis, they were scared, confused, and desperate for answers. But they didn't give up. They didn't accept limitations. They went to work. Speech therapy, behavioral therapy, occupational therapy, every kind of support they could find, Armani got it. And slowly, things started to change. At age 3, Armani spoke his first real words. But even as he developed, the challenges kept coming. He felt different, but he didn't know why. It wasn't until Armani was heading into middle school that his parents sat him down and told him the truth. And for Armani, everything suddenly made sense. "Once I learned the truth, it was like a weight came off my shoulders," he says. "It made sense in terms of what I had been dealing with all this time." But around the same time Armani was learning about his autism, he was also discovering something else. Something that would change his life forever. Every great racing story has an origin moment. For Armani Williams, it started with toy cars. Not just any toy cars, Hot Wheels and Matchbox cars that he'd race across the floor of his family home for hours. His great-grandfather had owned an auto body repair shop, so cars were already in the family DNA. But Armani's obsession went deeper. One of the characteristics of autism is the ability to hyper-focus on things that bring joy and interest. For Armani, that thing was cars. Then came the moment that sealed his fate. His dad took him to a local amusement park. They had a go-kart attraction. "After we rode around it for the first time, I wanted to keep going on it multiple times," Armani remembers, like again and again and again. Armani was hooked. He started watching NASCAR races on TV obsessively. Now, it is not unusual for most 8-year-olds to say they want to be a race car driver. But most 8-year-olds don't have the level of focus and determination that Armani Williams had. Remember, Armani's autism gave him the ability to laser focus on his interests, and racing had become his everything. So his dad made a decision that would change both of their lives. He took Armani to go-kart racing school at Jackson Speedway, and what happened next shocked everyone. At go-kart racing school, instructors taught kids the basics: gas pedal, brake pedal, steering wheel, racing lines. Most kids take weeks or months to get comfortable. Armani picked it up almost immediately. Why? "Every driver has focus," Armani explains, "but because I have autism, I have a laser-like focus. You have to almost like be the car." But it goes even deeper than that. Armani is hypersensitive to sound and touch. Most people would think that's a disadvantage in a loud, chaotic racing environment. They'd be wrong. Armani's hypersensitivity became his superpower. He could feel things in the car that other drivers couldn't. He could hear issues with the engine before anyone else noticed. He could sense when something was off with the handling, the tires, the setup. By age 8, Armani was racing competitively, and he was good. Really good. After go-karts, he moved to Mini Cup racing. These are half-sized versions of professional stock cars, and Armani absolutely crushed the competition. 18 wins, 2 championship titles. For a kid who was told he might never ride a bike, this was unbelievable. But Armani wasn't satisfied. At age 16, he competed in the ARCA Menards Truck Pro Series, a semi-pro league that feeds into NASCAR. And in 2016, Armani became the highest finishing black driver in both the series and the championship race. A teenage kid with autism. One of only a handful of black drivers in the entire sport, competing against drivers who've been racing their whole lives and winning. But there was still one more barrier Armani needed to break. He needed to prove he could compete at the professional level. And in 2017, he joined the NASCAR Pinty Series in Canada, driving for his mentor DJ Kennington. It was like a totally different vibe, Armani recalls. I knew that being a professional for the first time was going to be a lot of learning to do. But I got out there to try to prove to everyone that I had what it took to drive a race car and be really good. His debut race? 11th place finish. Not bad for a first-timer. Over the next few years, Armani bounced between different series. NASCAR K&N Pro Series East, NASCAR K&N Pro Series West, ARCA Menard Series. He was learning, growing, getting faster. In 2020, he scored his first top 10 finish in the ARCA Menard Series at Michigan, his home track. But the moment everyone was waiting for came in June 2021. Gateway Motorsports Park, NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. This is the third highest tier in NASCAR. This is where future Cup Series champions prove themselves. This is the big leagues. Armani Williams was making his debut, driving the number 33 Rayum Brothers Racing Toyota. For the first time in NASCAR's 75-year history, an openly autistic driver was competing at the national level, and he finished 21st that day. Not a win, but that wasn't the point. The point was he was there. The point was he belonged. The point was he'd broken a barrier that many thought would never be broken. But Armani wasn't done making history. As Armani's career grew, something else grew with it. His voice. He realized he had a platform. He realized people were watching. He realized he could make a difference. So Armani made a decision. He was going to use his racing career to raise autism awareness. His race cars started featuring blue paint schemes with autism puzzle pieces. He started speaking openly about his diagnosis. He started sharing his story with anyone who would listen. It was an opportunity to use my racing platform to help bring awareness, inclusion, and acceptance for people in the autism community, Armani says. The response was overwhelming. Families reached out with their own stories. Parents asked for advice. Kids with autism suddenly had a hero who looked like them and faced the same challenges they did. 1 in 54 children in America is diagnosed with autism. That's a lot of kids who need hope. A lot of people who need someone to show them what's possible. Armani Williams became that person. But Armani isn't just a race car driver. He's also a student at Oakland University studying mechanical engineering. Why mechanical engineering? Because Armani has a plan for life after racing. He wants to design, build, develop, and test future race cars. The same hyper-focus that makes him great behind the wheel? He's applying it to understanding how these machines work at the deepest level. So where is Armani Williams headed next? In 2024, NASCAR approved his participation in the Xfinity Series, one of the top 3 national divisions in the sport. He's currently competing part-time for MBM Motorsports, driving the number 6 Ford Mustang, racing against the best young drivers in the country. His ultimate goal? The NASCAR Cup Series. That's the pinnacle. That's where legends are made. That's where champions are crowned. And Armani Williams believes he can get there. But even more important than wins and championships is the message he's spreading. Don't give up. Always have hope and faith, Armani tells kids with autism. And if you go after your dream, that dream will happen. His advice is simple but powerful. Find something you're passionate about. Work hard at it. Bring your support system along for the ride. Never let anyone tell you what you can't do. Armani Williams is living proof that autism isn't a barrier to greatness. It's just a different path to get there. What do you think? Is Armani Williams the most inspiring driver in NASCAR right now? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to Track Reactions for more incredible stories from on and off the track.